My fork stalls mid-air, heavy with sweet potato mash, when my father's voice cuts through Thanksgiving like a snapped cable. You're a leech. Pack your things. You're out. The room freezes. Even the antique mantel clock seems louder. Tick, tick. The same one I sent to be repaired last month. I scan for a friendly face like I'm taking a quick sit-rep. Mom, Marilyn, won't look up, just nudges cold green beans around her plate. Across from me, my kid sister Jenna, 17 and still shrinking herself to fit this house, stares into her water glass. 2 hours ago I basted the turkey, whipped the potatoes, baked 3 pies while the TV blared football. 20 minutes ago I mentioned my promotion. Captain Logistics, new responsibility at the battalion. Now with steam rising off the meal I funded, Dad Caleb decides I'm disposable. My name is on the electric that keeps these lights on the water we're all drinking, on the grocery receipt for every bite in front of them, and on the insurance that covered Mom's appointment last week. But sure, somehow I'm the burden. When Mom lost her accounting job 3 months back, I took leave from the post and stepped in. Caleb's part-time shifts at the hardware store cover the mortgage. Barely. I handled the rest. Utilities, food, car insurance, copays. Each time another bill moved under my name, Dad got quieter, stiffer, like authority draining out of him, one autopay at a time. 2 weeks ago I heard him over the fence with Mr. Kemp next door. A man shouldn't lose control of his house. She acts like she owns it. I didn't realize she meant me until he said my name. Now he watches for tears, expecting a scene. I steady my breathing the way I do on the range. Slow in, slow out. The sweet potato tastes like drywall. I chew, swallow, set the fork down, fold my napkin, meet his eyes. I heard you, I say evenly. Loud and clear. The calm throws him. Silence yawns until Mom finally speaks, not to defend me. Rowan, she murmurs, rushed and hopeful, you'll still pay the medical insurance this month, right? I've got that appointment Tuesday. And there it is. Not daughter, just a funding source. Of course, I reply, voice steady despite the hollow opening in my chest. I'll handle it before I go. I gather my plate and Jenna's glass, move to the sink. My mind inventory checks the house. The faster internet I upgraded for Jenna's classes, the refrigerator I bought when the old one died in July, the utility accounts I moved under my name when the shutoff notices came. I rinse, scrape, wipe, methodical like breaking down a field kit. Through the window, my car sits in the driveway. The only thing I own outright that isn't welded to this address. At least I'll have wheels. Later, my nightstand clock blinks 1:18 a.m. while I roll another sweater and set it in the suitcase. Sleep isn't happening. Dad's words still ring. I pull the stack of paperwork from my desk. Insurance, utilities, grocery receipts. Sorting what I'll need. Underneath, something off. A paper bank statement with Caleb's name. We switched everything to digital after Mom got laid off. I pull another. And another. A small stack from the last 3 months. An account I've never heard of, with a balance creeping up while I've been bleeding savings to keep this house afloat. $4,000 in July. $5,000 in August. Nearly $7,000 now. Tucked beside them, a glossy brochure from a boat dealer, Caleb's notes in the margins. Down payment, $5,500. Underlined twice, scheduled delivery after Thanksgiving. Fishing boat. While I've been covering doctor visits and school internet. There's also a notepad. Due dates for November, utilities, my name scrawled with question marks, and at the bottom underlined, after bills paid. They plan this. Wait for me to cover the month, then shove me out. A soft knock. The door cracks and Jenna slips in, eyes sweeping over the open luggage and neatly stacked boxes. You're really leaving? She whispers, hovering like she might bolt. I tuck the bank statements into my purse and sit on the edge of the bed, surrounded by the evidence. Didn't get much of a vote, I say. Dad made the call. Jenna chews her bottom lip. Mom says they need your room for storage now that Dad's buying that boat. The word lands like a body blow. Boat. The same fishing rig he put a deposit on last month. Her voice drops to a whisper. I heard them weeks ago. They were going to wait until you paid November's bills. You knew. The hurt expands, reaching even for her. Tears brim. I was scared. Dad said anyone who warned you would be next. I want to be angry, but fear looks real on a 17-year-old. Same battle space, different rules. She's still a kid trying to survive a manipulative chain of command. There's more. She glances toward the hall. Mom's appointments? The ones on your insurance? Last week she came home with swollen lips. The doctor told her no straws for 2 days. Jenna does Mom's trademark eye roll. It wasn't a checkup, Rowan. It was fillers. The room tilts. I've been living on ramen while my mother uses my coverage for vanity shots. I pull up my banking app and show her the numbers. $763.42. 3 months ago I had a little over $9,000. If I'd stayed one more month, I'd be at zero. He swallows. Dad said if you try to take any furniture, he'll report you for theft. Even stuff you bought. Of course he did. I clock the desk I purchased when I went remote during the pandemic, the bookshelf I assembled, the bedding from my first officer paycheck. He also called the bank to get your name off the utilities. That's the timer going off. Housing. Cash flow. Clean extraction from their accounts. I slide a shoebox from under the bed. Receipts, neatly filed with dates and card statements. The desk. The new fridge. Jenna's laptop. The living room rug. Utility bills with my name as account holder. Not a smoking gun. More like chain of custody for the truth. Proof I carried this household while they drew a target on my back. Jenna watches me sort. Rowan. Yeah. What would you do in my place? Stand up for what's right, or keep the peace so you can stay? 2 courses of action, both messy. COAA. Confront, lay out evidence, execute an after-action and close the book. COAB. Exfil quiet, let consequences hit on their timeline. Closure versus clean exit. There's no painless option when the people who should love you only value what you provide. I meet her eyes. I don't have an easy answer, kid. I just know I'm done being their A-team. 3 days later, on my lunch break at the part-time gig, my aunt's voice crackles through the phone like radio static. Honestly, Rowan, I never thought you'd abandon your parents when they needed you most. I tighten my grip until my knuckles pale. Caleb's spin cycle is already up to speed. Did he mention he kicked me out? Keep my tone level. He said you left them high and dry after a little disagreement, Aunt Lorna sniffs. We're holding a family meeting at my house this weekend to discuss your behavior. Of course. A public tribunal where they script the narrative. Noted, I say and end the call. After shift, I head to my friend's place. I sink onto Devon's pullout, now my temporary rack. My life is 4 boxes and 2 suitcases against the wall. The rest sits in my car. 25 years condensed into what I could grab in 2 frantic hours while my parents were at church. My phone buzzes. Another cousin, another sermon about breaking Mom's heart. I don't open it. Every notification spikes my pulse. Devon gets home from the hospital, drops her bag, clocks the paperwork spread around me. Operation Financial Freedom. Status? Making headway. I tap my notebook of account numbers. Cancelled their autopays, pulled myself off their cell plan, called the ISP to remove my name. I don't add that the rep laughed when I said I was voluntarily stepping off the hook for my parents' bills. Good, Devon says, lowering herself to the floor beside me. They can manage their own mess. Starting over presses on my sternum. My savings is thin, security deposit money maybe, not much beyond that. You sure your roommate's okay with me crashing? Theo? He's thrilled. Right on cue, the door swings open and Theo barrels in, a giant golden retriever galloping ahead. Rowan, he grins. Meet the world's worst therapist. He only takes payment in treats. The dog plants himself in front of me and thumps the floor with his tail like he's clearing me to breathe. Theo lobs a tennis ball across the living room and his golden retriever rockets after it, paws skittering on the floor. The dog returns and drops the soaked ball in my lap, eyes bright. He thinks you need that more than he does, Theo says, trying to look solemn and losing the battle. Best therapist I know. Terrible breath for pause. When the dog nudges my hand with a wet nose, a laugh escapes me. My first in days. Feels strange, like using a muscle I forgot I had. 5 days after I exfiltrated that house, I'm at Devon's kitchen table combing job boards. My current paycheck keeps the lights on, but I need an emergency fund if I'm going to rebuild for real. My phone lights with Marilyn's name. I consider letting it roll to voicemail, then answer. What did you do? She snaps, voice high and panicked. The power's out, the internet's down, and the clinic says my insurance was declined. I inhale slow and even. I stopped paying for what isn't my responsibility. You can't just leave us like this. We're your family. Family doesn't call family a leech over Thanksgiving dinner, I say. There's steel in my tone I didn't have a week ago. Your father didn't mean it, she softens, sliding into placating mode. You know how he gets. I do, I say. That's the problem. I set the phone down like it's hot metal and get back to work. That evening, Devin leans over my shoulder while I cycle fresh passwords. You've got security alerts, she says, pointing. Looks like someone's poking around your accounts. Let's set fraud alerts now. The contrast isn't lost on me. My family acts entitled to everything I touch. Devin asks before she borrows a charger. Good call, I say. Thank you. Late that night I scroll apartment listings that fit my new budget. Mostly studio shoeboxes, but each one is a perimeter I control. No opinions needed. No kitchen sized for holiday feasts I'll pay for. Morning, I walk into a local credit union, open a new account in my name only, and move every dollar out of the bank my parents know. As I step back onto the sidewalk, a text from Jenna blips. Mom's asking for your banking info. Says she needs to check something. Don't trust her. My screen floods. 6 missed calls from the house in under an hour. Then an email. Fraud alert. Password reset attempt. Heat rises in my chest. They don't just want me back under their thumb. They want what little I have left. A day later, a bank rep's voice carries careful concern. Captain Hale, we've blocked multiple password resets originating from your parents' address in the last 24 hours. I pace the small spare room that's become my safe house. And there's no access? None. We've placed enhanced security protocols on your profile. Any changes require in-person verification and photo ID. My ribs loosen. I thank her and log it in the notebook I've been building. Names times actions. One by one, the rest fall in. Cards locked down, utilities formally removed from my name, insurance protected with extra verification. The power company rep almost sounded impressed. Smart move calling. Your mother tried to reactivate service under your name yesterday. Denied. Each confirmation is another brick in the wall I'm building. Not out of rage, though that hums under the surface, but out of protection. A wall of my own design. Devin appears with a mug. Tea with honey. Post calls debrief. I wrap my hands around the heat. Last one's done. Nothing changes on my accounts without me. She smiles. How's that feel? The answer dies in my throat when a thunder of fists slams our front door. Tea sloshes over my fingers. Devin and I lock eyes. Rowan. Caleb's voice booms through the wood. Open this door. Now. Devin gestures for me to hang back, but my feet are already moving. This showdown's been coming since I walked out. The pounding accelerates, each impact a shock through the frame. Through the peephole I catch Caleb's face, flushed and warped by anger. The same look he used on bill collectors and telemarketers, now aimed at me. I know you're in there. Another volley rattles the hinges. You think you can abandon your family and wreck our lives? Across the hall a door cracks. Mrs. Duffy, the retiree who baked cookies when my friends moved in, peers out. Her eyes widen at the sight of Caleb's fists on the door. Young man, she calls, voice shaking but firm. I've already called building security. He wheels on her. Mind your business, lady. This is between me and my daughter. It's my business when you're disturbing the peace. She pulls her robe tight and shuts her door. Caleb turns back to ours, voice dropping to a low, dangerous register. Rowan. If you don't open this door right now, I'll... The threat turns into a boot. The kick splinters wood around the lock, the frame shuddering. Across the hall, Mrs. Duffy gasps and ducks back into her apartment. My hands are steady enough to dial 911. I keep my voice low with the dispatcher while Caleb hammers at the door again. An elevator dings. Heavy footsteps thud down the corridor. Sir, step away from the door, now. The building security officer's command slices through Caleb's shouting. This is my daughter's place. I have every right. You have no right to damage property or disturb residents. Police are on the way. Sirens rise outside. Through the peephole I watch 2 officers arrive and cuff him. Even with his wrists pinned behind him, he's still yelling that I'm the one destroying the family. When an officer, Rodriguez per his nameplate, returns for my statement, I lay it out like a report. The financial control, the unauthorized access attempts, tonight's escalation. He listens, pen moving. Would you like to press charges for attempted break-in? Yes, I say, voice small but firm. And I want a restraining order. Later, as the cruiser pulls away with Caleb in the back, doubt flickers. Too harsh? Or finally the necessary boundary to stop the bleed? Devon squeezes my shoulder. Theo's grabbing security cameras on his way home. We'll mount them tonight. Thank you, I say, grateful for help that doesn't come with strings. My phone buzzes. Jenna. Mom took your laptop and camera. Says they're collateral for what you owe. A second message pings almost immediately. Heard her on the phone with Parkway Pawn. Said she got $300 for both. Heat climbs my throat. Those were worth $2,000, I tell Devon. Do you have receipts? Serial numbers. All of it. I've kept meticulous records for taxes and sanity. An hour later, Officer Williams takes my theft report, copies my receipts, notes serial numbers. Pawning someone else's property is a crime, she says, professional but kind. We'll contact the shop and recover your items. For once, the system tilts my way. It makes me dizzy with possibility. The calls start rolling in. Relatives I haven't heard from in months. I listen to Aunt Lorna first. Rowan, I heard about the arrest. I'm so sorry, we had no idea it was like this. Neighbors saw the hallway scene and talked. Caleb's version is cracking. While I'm on a step stool helping Theo mount the camera above our door, a text from Marilyn lights my screen. I had to pawn your camera and laptop to cover the electric bill you abandoned. Parkway Pawn on 4th Street. You owe me $300 plus interest. I show Devon. She shakes her head. The entitlement is impressive. I save the message to the evidence folder, but the anger isn't about her nerve anymore. It's about how long I let myself believe I owed this. The thought hardens into resolve as I click the camera into place. This time the perimeter is mine. This time I'm the one watching. My phone rings. Marilyn again. I've been waiting for this call. 3 days since I filed the theft report. Time to negotiate. I've been thinking, she begins, voice trembling just enough. If you drop that ridiculous report, you can come home. Your room is exactly as you left it. Pause, a deep breath. And Rowan, we should talk about your state of mind. Your father and I are worried you're having some kind of breakdown. That's something friends and family would understand better than, well, what you're claiming. The threat is clean. Drop the charges or we label you unstable. I breathe in slow. I have copies of every bill I've paid for the last 6 months. Bank statements showing transfers to your account. Texts asking me to pay for cosmetic procedures you claimed were medical. I let the silence stretch. Would you like me to present all of that as evidence? She doesn't answer. He doesn't have to. The next morning, Officer Williams idles her cruiser behind my car and follows me to my parents' house. Officer Williams idles her cruiser in my parents' driveway. A message to every curtain twitcher on the block that the old story is over. As we walk up the path, I can feel eyes on us from across the street. Marilyn opens the door, smile faltering when she spots the uniform. Mrs. Ashford, Officer Williams says evenly, I'm here to accompany Rowan while she retrieves her remaining belongings. Inside, the house feels smaller than it used to. I head straight for my room, Officer Williams a step behind. I hand her a folder I prepped last night. Copies of my contributions, utilities, groceries, medical bills, the refrigerator I bought in July. Receipts attached. She flips through, brows lifting. You covered all this while living here? Yes. For 6 months, since my mother lost her job. Marilyn appears in the doorway, arms crossed. That furniture stays with the family. You can't just take everything. I lift another stack of receipts. I have proof of purchase for what I'm taking. Want to see? Officer Williams glances from the paperwork to my mother. Surprise flickers in her eyes. Mrs. Ashford, these documents show your daughter has been supporting this household almost entirely on her own. Marilyn's mouth opens, then shuts. She disappears down the hall. I work methodically, books, uniforms, clothes, the items no one can dispute. Load, return, repeat. Through the bedroom window I catch neighbors on porches pretending to check mail and water plants. Let them watch. Let them update their version of events. I'm locking the front door for the last time when an engine growls. My other car, the one I left at Devon's, rolls into the driveway. Caleb climbs out, jingling the spare key I'd once handed over for emergencies. We need to discuss what you owe us before you take this, he says, nodding at the vehicle I'm about to drive. I set down the box and pull a thin folder from my purse. Here's the title, I say, lifting the paper, and the registration. Both in my name. Officer Williams steps forward. Sir, the vehicle is registered to Captain Hale. Hand over the keys. Color drains from his face. His fist tightens. I paid for college. Braces. 18 years of. The keys, Mr. Ashford. Her palm stays outstretched. His fingers uncurl. The keys drop with a small jingle. As she passes them to me, I see something I've never seen on my father. Complete deflation. The man who towered over us looks suddenly smaller, diminished. Come near me or my property again, I say, voice level, and I'll file for a restraining order. I slide into the driver's seat, adjust the mirror, turn the ignition. Neighbors are still watching, witnesses to the final scene. Mrs. Whitaker next door doesn't even pretend to check her mailbox. She stands on the lawn, phone in hand, recording a new narrative. In the rear view, Jenna appears in the doorway. 1 foot inside their house, one hand lifting in a tentative wave. There's sorrow on her face and something else. Admiration maybe. The strength she's still learning to claim. 3 blocks later, my phone buzzes at a red light. They're blaming me now. What do? The typing dots appear, vanish. My sister stands where I stood, shouldering their weight. The light flips green and horns chirp behind me, but I hold for a beat, thinking through next steps. Sunlight filters through gauzy curtains I chose, sketching warm patterns across hardwood I pay for. 3 months since I left that driveway with Officer Williams' card in my wallet. The difference still catches me. On my desk, bills fan like a deck. Electric, water, internet, renter's insurance, each in my name, each well within budget. No hidden emergencies tucked between envelopes. My bank statement sits open beside them. The numbers climb, modest and steady. The emergency fund I drained is refilling. 6 months is the goal. I've cleared 2. Last weekend I painted an accent wall deep teal and didn't ask anyone's permission. The freedom of small choices feels enormous. A year later, my apartment hums with quiet conversation. I slide a burnished turkey onto a smaller table than the one I grew up at. Perfectly cooked, perfectly mine. Hosting Thanksgiving is not lost on me. Can I help? Jenna asks, hovering by the counter. She looks taller somehow, not in inches but in presence, growing out from under the old shadow. Your company is more than enough, I tell her, and it is. No mental ledger, no tally of what I owe or what's owed to me. Just a table we chose, a meal we made, and a piece I built on purpose. I move through my place with a lightness I couldn't have imagined last November. The dishes don't match, the table is thrifted, but every object here was chosen, not coerced. We settle in and Devon lifts her glass. To chosen family and boundaries worth keeping. Theo raises his and so does Jenna, eyes bright. She's been thriving since she moved into her dorm 3 months ago. We've turned my kitchen counter into mission control for her future. FAFSA confirmations, housing forms, deadlines pinned in tidy rows. The hacks I learned the hard way have become her shortcuts. While we sort scholarship packets, she gives me the latest intel. They lost the house last month, she says quietly. Dad's still blaming the bank, the economy, anyone but himself. They're at Uncle Reed's for now. He's already hinting it's temporary. I nod and glance at the bookcase. 5 envelopes sit on the top shelf, all from Marilyn and Caleb, all sealed. Holding a boundary doesn't erase curiosity. It just keeps me safe while I feel it. They still blame you for everything, Jenna adds, tapping a pen against an application. But honestly, this was coming no matter what. Your money just slowed the crash. We highlight a section on housing assistance and talk through her next steps. Choices and consequences. Simple in a field manual, messier in a family. Some nights, while she studies and the apartment hums soft around us, I wonder about those letters. Is a clean break the healthiest call after a breach that deep? Or is there value in limited contact on my terms, with my rules of engagement and an exit plan if the ground shifts? I don't open the envelopes. Not yet. For now, the perimeter holds. I set another scholarship packet in front of Jenna and watch her shoulders ease as she maps her own route forward. The life I'm building is quiet, steady, and mine, and the door to it locks from my side. If they ever come knocking, they'll find a soldier who learned to choose her battles. And a woman who finally knows which home she's defending.